everybody. Hope you're doing okay. So, before I introduce my next guest, I've been told that I should be telling people not only to like and subscribe, but also use the little bell. Apparently, if you click the bell, you get notifications every time I upload a video. Just goes to show that even after 6 months of uploading videos, I didn't realise that. Well done, Jen. Clearly, I'm made to be a YouTuber. Oh dear. Anyway, on to my next guest. She is a fantastic actress that I'm sure all of us have seen on television at some point. Please welcome my next guest, Anna Acton. I hope you enjoy the interview. I hope you enjoy our interview. Okay, so my first question for you is, do you remember what first sparked your interest in performing?
There's nothing that I can pinpoint. I've always wanted to do it. I've always enjoyed doing it. I've sort of racked my brains and tried to think about, was it when I started a little drama group, because my mum put me in a little drama group when I was small, that I went throughout, until I kind of went to sixth form. Or I can't remember when I finished with her, but she was just a local lady. We did plays in her back garden. We did poetry recitals. I did all the Lambda exams with her.
Yeah.
And so, no, it was just fun. And at that point, I never realised that you could have a career out of it. It was never as a means to getting a job or a career path or anything like that. I just did it because I loved it and it just made me happy. And it was one of the things I stuck with. I tried loads of other things and I think I've got quite a short attention span. So it's the only thing that I've ever sort of stuck with my entire life, just because I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You're one of so many people that have said, I didn't realise you could do this as a job.
No, I really didn't, because it's a totally rogue gene in my family. My dad was a teacher, my mum's in the medical profession, my brother is in business. There was no aunts or uncles. There was nothing for me to go, oh, okay, that's something that I could aspire to, that I could do. Yeah. It was much later that I discovered, you could actually make a career out of it, which was very exciting.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you don't have not a role model, but you don't have somebody who's done it, you don't really know what path to take. That's the thing. Very similarly, my parents, it's the other way around than your parents. Yeah. But that's the thing. You don't know about it, do you? You just think, when you watch people on stage, you think, oh, they must be having a lovely time. You don't realise they're getting paid.
And because it was, as a child, my dad, we used to go to the theatre all the time. There was a very sort of not theatrical, but sort of a classicalness to my family. My dad was always read a lot, and we always had music and always went to the theatre and things like that. But yeah, for me, just to sort of imagine that those actors came off stage and that was a job for them, it wasn't sort of them playing all the time as well, was quite something, actually. Yeah.
So glad that you found it.
Yeah, me too.
So what do you think is the most challenging thing about being an actress?
Oh, God, the most challenging thing is not working. I think it's never the actual jobs that are scary, or there's nothing within a job that you could get. Actually being terrified of taking a job or being scared of the job is part of the joy of it. But for me, the biggest challenge and what has been the hardest thing is just keeping going between each job, and whether it's trying to keep yourself financially, mentally sort of fit above water and all of that kind of thing is that's been a real struggle and a constant challenge, because however you can have really good years and just have those gaps between jobs are really small, and then you can have other years where almost the whole year is a gap, and it's just that's what I really, really struggle with, and always sort of trying to keep yourself ready for the phone to ring, because the phone can ring at any minute, and you have to be your voice and your body, as in being able, as your tool, has to be ready to be on set, to be in a rehearsal room, possibly the very next day. So you just I find that quite tricky.
Yeah, it's the motivation, isn't it? When you know that your job is 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, that is your motivation. Know getting up in the morning for, even if you don't know what the day is, day ahead is, what it is that you're going to be doing. Whereas when somebody says to you, right, that's it, and then you don't know what's coming next. The motivation is very difficult to keep yourself, like you say, fresh and ready to go when you don't know if you're ready to go tomorrow or whether you're ready to go in 8 months' time.
Yeah, or if that call will ever come. There's always that in the back of your head, just going, oh, was that the last job I'm ever going to do? And yeah, just trying to keep mentally fit as well, and not sort of wallow or, you know, and worry too much about everything. But I think it's all part of the job, isn't it? So yeah, just as much as working, it's keeping yourself in a good place when you're not working.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So describe your career so far in 3 words, or what would they be?
Challenging, as we've just discussed, unpredictable, because whatever you think is going to happen, whatever you want to happen, whichever way or direction you think your path is going, you can guarantee it will be completely the opposite, and it won't be what you're prepared for. So completely unpredictable, and also wonderful is my 3rd word, because I just love it, and I think you have to love it this much to put up with the roller coaster that it is, because the highs are so high and the lows are incredibly low. But you just, I couldn't just do that. I have to kind of, I love the ride. It's wonderful.
That's the thing, like you say, you have to love it. You have to love, and you have to love everything that comes with it. That feeling.
Yeah. I often think, I say that I don't think, like you said, where did the spark come? I don't necessarily think people choose to be actors. I think it's in you, and it's something that you have to do, because there's so much of this life that somebody, if you sat down and went, right, do I want to be unemployed most of the time, spend most of my life hearing no or nothing, all the not the pitfalls, that's the wrong word, all the sort of negative sides of it can be so strong that if you sort of actually properly sat down and thought about it, I don't think anybody would deliberately pick this life. But you if it's in you, you don't have a choice, and you just have to follow it. It's what makes you happy ultimately.
I think it's the passion of when you are doing what you love, it's so strong and it takes over. You then almost don't mind and don't think about the other sides of it.
No, you forget. It's like, it's like having a baby. That as soon as you're working again, you forget how hard those months or however long it was before you got the job. You think, oh yeah, no, I'm back. It's okay again. Everything's fine. And you forget almost instantly. And I think that's just what kind of keeps you coming back. And it's also the thing, I think the people who survive the longest in it are just the ones who just hang on in there and just hold on as long as you can.
So talk us through some of your career highlights, like I call them wow moments. I'm sure you've had loads, so it must be really hard to pick a few.
Genuinely, for me, a career highlight is any time I get a job. I love it. I still have that, excitement, and my husband's brilliant, because he always says celebrate every success. So we always, there's always a celebration for any job, just because it's just, I always feel so lucky whenever I get one. And so yeah, I highlights sort of specifically, God, like the first time I was on stage, I was an understudy for something at the National Theatre on tour, and the first time I got to go on stage was at Richmond Theatre. I mean, that was just amazing, and it was for a play by Terry Johnson called Cleo, Camping Emmanuel and Dick, and it was about the Carry On films. And Barbara Windsor was actually in the audience that night that I did it, and she came backstage, and she was really lovely and complimentary. And just things like that sort of start you off on your journey, and because you're constantly, well, I'm constantly questioning, is this the right thing? Am I, good enough? Am I capable? And to have validation like that quite early when it's your first, your professional debut was really, really amazing. So yeah, I think probably that. And then I think so fondly on any job I've ever done. That was great. And then also probably Family Affairs, which was my first proper major telly job, which was soap opera on Channel 5. Because I went to university, I did a BA honours acting degree, mostly to appease my parents, because they sort of thought drama school 3 years or a degree. So that was kind of to keep them happy. I did a degree. I did 3 years, and it was amazing. We did a lot of physical theatre, commedia, mask work, so much theatre, and we only did 2 weeks of screen acting for the whole time. So family affairs to me was like an apprenticeship of film work and television acting, and learning what everybody on a set does, and meeting, I met my husband Ben on that job. I met lots of my best friends on that job. It was just because it was Channel 5 and it wasn't EastEnders watched by several million people. It was this wonderful, nurturing team of people where I could, you could try things out and then you'd watch it back and you see, right, okay, that works, that doesn't work. And really nurturing, kind directors and producers. And it was, that was a definite career highlight as well, just because it kind of gave me the confidence to know that you can go on and do other work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're thrown into something, you worry about, like you say, you'd only done 2 weeks, you think, oh my gosh, am I ready for this? Like, is this something that I can do? But when people are so kind and nurturing, like, those are the jobs, although you've had so many after that point, those are the ones that really stick in your mind, because like it's such a community theatre and the creative arts in general, isn't it? And everybody always goes, oh god, it must be awful, all these people trying to like pip against one another, and obviously there are downsides to it, but a lot of the experiences I've had too is everybody just comes and supports one another. It's like one big family, one big bubble, like, and that's great. So when you're a bit like, do I know what I'm doing? Is this is there to go, you're cool, you're okay, like I'll help you with it. And then similarly, when they're having a day like that, you can be that person to go, we can do it together. And I think that's the biggest thing for me about the industry, that I'm trying to teach my children, that is what it's about. You've got to help each other out, because you never know when one person comes, you might never meet them again, but you might then, like you say, meet your husband. You might be like that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely about a team and being part of a team, and it was just, like I said, a great apprenticeship to also understand how a set works, because that's so important as well. Nobody sort of sits you down with a sort of instruction manual of what everybody on a set does, or what different shots are, or what certain terminology is. And it was just a great place to learn all that in my own time, and everybody was patient and lovely. And then when I was there for a bit longer, because I think I was there for just over 3 years, as other people came in, I could then, like you said, I could then help them and give them the knowledge that I'd learned. And it was a really special place and a really special time. I loved it, really did.
Amazing. So you said there, my question was going to be, have you ever taken part or performed in theatre? But you started in theatre.
Yes, that was where my training and my background mostly was. And then obviously that first job at the National, I've been trying to get back into the National Theatre ever since. That's like a dream to go back there. Yeah. And I did. And then when I did Noises Off up at the Liverpool Playhouse just before I got married, and I did quite a few different plays and things. But then I got married, and then when I had children, when my girls were little, I didn't really want to be leaving them at bedtime, and you sort of, it gets quite complicated. So 2 years ago I did the first play I'd done in 10 years. It was a two-hander, and it was brilliant, and it was great because my girls were old enough now to say, right, this is what mummy's doing. And so then I would be able to take them to school in the morning, then I'd pick them up, bring them home, then I'd go and do the show because it would be in London, I'm not that far away, and then I'd come home, and then I'd get up and take them to school again. So I still saw them loads in the day. But if I had toddlers, to have then had a full day with two toddlers and then tried to go and do a show in the evening, and then to get out, I wouldn't have had the stamina. I wouldn't have been able to do it to the best of my ability. So that's why I had such a big break. And I was lucky that I got telework and stuff that fitted around the family much better. But I love the theatre. I love going to the theatre. I love performing in it. Anything to do with it is wonderful.
This isn't a question, but I just want to know, like, how do you think it differs, theatre and TV work? How does it differ for you? What does it feel like? What are the different feelings that you get?
As in a performance, or
when you're there?
Well, I mean, theatre's instant gratification, isn't it? You do something and the audience responds immediately, whereas obviously for telly, not only can the performance be smaller because obviously the camera's much closer and you don't have to reach so far, I think, and also often film is shot out of chronological order, so you can be filming the payoff for something before you've filmed the lead up to it, which is quite confusing. But whereas with theatre, it starts and you do the full journey and you can get to whichever emotion you need to. Whereas sometimes you have to start a scene and you've been crying in another scene, and so they're completely different disciplines. And I don't think you can compare them in many ways, but they're both brilliant for the different things that they both bring and the different challenges that they both bring. And like with theatre, it's different every single night. You know, depending on who the audience. I can't remember who I heard say this recently, but they said that the audience is like another member of the cast.
Yeah.
That depending, the audience can bring such a different energy that one night, the same play is completely different to the next night. And I love that. You're standing just before you're about to go on, thinking you're going to be sick with nerves, thinking, why am I doing this? But just that minute, just before you go on, not really knowing what's going to happen or where it's going to go, even though you know the basic framework of it. That excitement, that exhilaration is just, there's nothing like it.
No.
And that's amazing. And obviously not the safety blanket of when you're filming to go, oh, cut, sorry, I said the wrong line or something happened or I tripped over something. I can't believe it was a year ago now, because obviously since lockdown. But I did a David Hare play at the end of last year. And it was verbatim theatre, and it was actually talking to the audience, speaking words that people have actually spoken. And that was unbelievably difficult, because for me, I'm always thrown if I can see the audience. I quite like, not known, but you literally had to talk to people in the audience, which was a huge challenge and something I found really tricky to overcome. And I used to take out my contact lenses so I couldn't see the audience, so I wouldn't be intimidated. But now my prescription has got to a point where, I might walk off the end of the stage if I haven't got them in. So I kind of had to have them, and you had to be able to, to literally connect and engage with each audience member. Which is terrifying, but brilliant. And again, it's another point that you never, there's no final end to this journey. You're constantly learning, you're constantly reinventing yourself, you're constantly developing as a performer and trying different things. And that was
amazing.
But I loved it.
So are there any real life events or moments in history that you would love to tell the story of, or a particular person that you're just fascinated by and think, like, wouldn't it be awesome to be part of that, trying to recreate that or sell that story?
I don't know. I mean, God, it's been done so many times. I think so. I was trying to think about something fresh, and there are loads of different things. But I think because as a child I was absolutely fascinated with Judy Garland, just in the sense that I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched Wizard of Oz, and just the fascination with her as a girl who seemed to be, my own age, and who was this brilliant performer who you would think had the best life ever and doing what she wants to do and getting, that was when I sort of realized that it could be a job, that you get paid to do this every day, and how lucky she must be. And then as I got older, obviously understanding then the flip side of what that poor girl went through. And, and then obviously, I don't know if you've seen the film Judy with Renee Zellweger, just, oh my God, how heartbreaking, and what a beautiful performance. But just the whole, I obviously wouldn't need to tell it again, but just saying somebody that you're fascinated by. And I've always been fascinated by how controlled she was, and how you think that's everything you could ever want, but actually it's like a prison sentence by the sound of it. Just breaking.
It's a really poignant, she's a really poignant person in the world of the creative arts, isn't she? And like you say, so many people, now that she's gone, we look to her, and we look to her work and the brilliance of her, but behind that was such a sad person, and that's devastating. Loving the listening to her work, you just think, how is that possible?
It now watching it as an adult and knowing what she went through, and some of the stuff that even happened on the set of it, you just think, oh gosh, it gives a whole different meaning to it, doesn't it?
Definitely. So we talked earlier about the challenges of the job. What do you find most exciting?
I love anything from, from getting the script to if I'm lucky enough to get the job, to then finding out, you get the call sheet and you're like, is there anyone on there that I've worked with before, from makeup to cameras to sound. I always love seeing if, because, you often reconnected with people that you haven't worked with for years. So I love that part of it. And exploring characters and playing. You're just basically playing, really, aren't you?
I know, you can't believe you're actually getting paid for it, can you?
I never ever take it for granted, ever, the fact of, how lucky I am. I mean, I love walking on a set. It's just being a tiny part of this huge machine of, everybody has their little bit that they're doing, and you slot in and you do your little bit, and which is why it's, I think, really lovely on Family Affairs or like, with EastEnders or The Bill, when you're a regular on something.
Yeah.
You're part of that well-oiled machine, and you're comfortable, and everybody, and you're a family, and this team that I just keep talking about, that you just all work together, not just the company of actors, but everybody there, and I think that's something that's really, really lovely. And then, because I've seen the other side of it as well, as, when you go on to one of those things, when everybody's there as a guest artist, and that's a really different experience. Not nice, but very different in the sense that, you have to sort of go in and do your bit and then you go home.
Yeah.
It's gone back to 100 miles an hour, but it's not been like it's not been a gradual, it's been literally nothing and then back up to where we were, like picking the kids up from school, taking them to the clubs, doing this, doing that, and making lunch boxes. And I'm just, I'm not, I haven't ramped up quite enough yet. I felt like say the swan furiously paddling underwater, but I think you can see it on top with me as well.
Everyone always says to me, for somebody who performs, you're very bad at like hiding the dial. I'm like, am I? And they're like, yeah. When it's real life events and like it's written all over your face, I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I'm the same. I'm not very good at hiding it, but then I guess, but then that is your job as well, isn't it? To show everything as every second that you feel it.
Yeah. So if you could do any other job within the creative arts industry, what do you think you would like to try?
Well, interestingly, I do a lot of photography, and I do actors' headshots as well, sort of something that just is brilliant for me, because I love faces, I love people, I love actors, and it's just a really nice way of kind of feeling connected with the industry, but also, knowing how important a headshot is. And I've always alongside acting, I've always done photography. I used to develop my own film and my own prints in a little dark room, and I'm fascinated by light, and that's, often on a set you'll see me chatting to the camera guys about, what lenses they've got and things like that. And so I think that is something that I'm lucky that I can do alongside of the acting. But aside from that, if I could, I would love to write. And I've tried, and I think a brilliant writer is they are. Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's not easy. A lot of people just think, oh yeah, I just write a bit of dialogue, and it's really hard.
No.
And that is something I would love to be able to do.
Yeah.
And can't.
It is difficult. I write all the shows the children do, and like,
wow.
I love it because I know every year the company that we've got, so I kind of like gear it towards, like their humor and those kinds of things, because I work with them some 3 times a week, so like you get to know their little characters and like their nuances, and some of them I've had for 3 years, so like they've kind of grown up through the group. So when I write it, they'll go, oh my, we'll do it, the read through, and they're laughing their socks off, and I'm like, see, that's what I want, because I know that you'd find that funny. That's why I've put in there. And the children that are better at the humor and the comedy, and the ones that are more like really dry, or like the ones that have got that sweet little innocence to them. So that's why I love writing for them. But I don't think I could write for adults, because it's just not in. I don't think I could do it. Whereas with the children, like what they enjoy, what they like. It's always geared towards children. So the one we're doing at the moment is based on a children's home. Whereas we've done some before that are based at kids camps, or like schools, or things that like they can relate to. And also because I teach them, I can relate to that too, because I take them on trips and this, you know, so I get that, and I can do that okay, and I can do humour because again I can get their little characters, but I don't know, I could not write for adults. I couldn't do it.
People say that writing for children is harder than writing for adults. I think certainly for books, I think just in the sense of trying to keep shorter concentration spans and things like that, I think, and comedy's not easy to do either, so it sounds like you're nailing it.
Well, I'm trying. I am trying. And it's also really nice, like, because it's the children, you know, when they're like, oh, that was really funny, you're like, great, yes, good, great. Or like when they perform it and like you can hear the audience laughing, you're like, okay, I did a good job. But yeah, they're so easy. They make it so easy for me because they're so open, children, aren't they? So open.
And honest. Yeah, really. Instant feedback, whether it's good or not. Yeah.
Jen, that joke doesn't work. Okay, right.
Thank you. I'll take that note.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yes. No, I have two very honest children in my house who tell me things whether I want them to or not.
Always, and you can hear the parents going, oh, "Don't say that." Or like,
yeah. No, the filters are off at that age, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's really lovely.
I love it. I absolutely love it, and I don't have any problem with it. Is your favourite time of year? Do you have a favourite, you know, celebration or season?
It used to be September, actually, just because I used to love the start of school and kind of felt like new beginnings, and, you know, buying stationery and all that kind of thing to go back to school. But I think now it's spring, actually, because the winters, I don't know if as I've got older, but I'm finding the winters longer and sort of more never ending. And then suddenly, as you know, you see the little buds coming through for spring. I think that just is another sort of new beginning, new hope, all that sort of thing. So yeah, I think spring is my favourite time of year.
It starts getting a bit warmer.
Yes, that as well. You know, I've had enough of jumpers and boots by then.
I know, I'm so excited for it already. I'm already like in it, like with the colours and everything, and I'm so excited for it. But
yeah, well, it's perfect autumnal. So you're going to keep it? It's lovely. I really like it.
Oh, thanks. I think so. Yeah, the first time we were allowed to go back to the hairdressers, I waited a good few weeks because she's quite a far way away from us.
Yeah.
And she was like, God, it's really long again, Jen. She was like, are we doing highlights? We was like, I don't know. I was a bit like, I'm not sure. And then she went to put, because I've got so much hair, she went to put it in the base, and I went, actually, I think I might have it cut. She took it out and was like, right, okay. So I had 15 inches off, so it was really long.
That's a lot, isn't it? Oh, it looked really lovely though. I went from long to a bob, and it didn't suit me as well, so I just grew it back to how it's been for years.
That's the thing. I think people like expect you to look. I've been told I have to update my Skype picture because everybody says to me, "Oh," I spoke to someone yesterday. He went, "Oh," I was like, "Hello?" He was like, "That wasn't what I was expecting." Like I was expecting a long blonde brownie hair. I was like, "Oh, sorry." He's like, "No, you're fine, but you need to change your Skype picture."
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Definitely. No, I like it. I like a change. I do just change it up every now and again, but because my hair's so thick and it grows really, really quickly, I'm very lucky. Like,
that's great then. Yeah.
I kind of like by Christmas it'll be like down here, and
well, you can experiment with all next to see with a pixie cut.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. I'm not sure. This was definitely as short. It was a little bit shorter. It's definitely as short as I've ever been.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure. So, dream holidays now. Talk us through your perfect, ideal dream holiday, or have you already been on it?
Well, one of my favourite places in the world is Thailand, because I was lucky enough. One of the first jobs I did, I've been really lucky with adverts, and I've gone all over the world. And one of them was, I mean, this was years and years ago. It was one of the post office idents for Wish You Were Here. So we're talking quite a while ago. And we went to Thailand, Mexico and Austria, all for one job, with the loveliest crew. And, you know, when you're so kind of somewhere, you think, I'm getting paid to be here. And so Thailand is I love it there just because of obviously having gone for jobs. And then for a job, and then I went just for a holiday, and then my husband and I went for our honeymoon, which was really, really lovely. We went all over, And now my girls are old enough now to do, they're really good at long haul flights. We've been to California quite a few times and they're brilliant on a plane.
Yeah.
And obviously when we're allowed and when the world is safe again,
Yeah.
I'd love to take them there because it's just so beautiful and the people are so lovely and the food is gorgeous and they're really good with sort of spicy, trying different foods. And
Yeah.
it's just such a special place. And there's an elephant sanctuary and, you know,
Oh.
I don't know, it's just, yeah, a dream for me just to go back and for my kids as well. I mean, there are loads of places I'd like to go, but that's like my next idea. It'd be great to go there for Christmas. I think just get away from all the Christmas stuff.
I know. Well, the thing is, the lead up to Christmas now is like now. I went to the supermarket earlier and there was Christmas stuff.
Yeah, it's too early. It's not right.
I mean, I love Christmas. Okay, I'm not sure anyone in my my house is like screams Christmas. But I mean, we have to have Halloween and bonfire night and all that jazz first. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Before the 1st of December, you're crazy. What are you doing?
No, I agree. I do love Christmas. Don't get me wrong, I do love it, but I just sometimes it just all gets a bit much, and I just like to get away.
Definitely. So my quick fire round now.
Okay.
I'm just going to shout things out at you and you're going to tell me which you prefer. Okay. Music wise, pop or rock?
Pop. My husband will kill me for saying that, but pop.
A cat or dog?
Oh, dog.
Cheese or crackers?
What, or crackers?
Cheese.
Oh, cheese. Oh, don't you have them with them? Don't they go together perfectly?
Usually. Oh, that could be your answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Can't have one without the other. Although no, I can have cheese on its own, but it's better with a cracker.
Birthday or Christmas?
Birthday.
TV or book?
Now I'm really torn on that because I love my telly, but I also love reading. I can't pick one over the other on that one. I'm sorry.
Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Pass.
A comedy or horror?
Oh God, comedy. I'm not good. I'm not good with horrors at all. I think I need to make a horror film or be in one to sort of demystify it, because I saw. Long story short, but when I was quite young, I went to a friend's for sleepovers, and her mum got like the Nightmare on Elm Street films, all three of them, and I was 11, and I've never got over that, so I can't cope with horror.
No, me neither. I don't get it.
I
don't like being scared. It's not entertaining.
No, I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, I love a good psychological thriller or something like that, but like horror just for the sake of no. Right.
Beach or park?
Beach.
Pink or purple?
Pink or purple? Oh, purple, I think. I don't know. Ask me tomorrow and it'll be pink.
Or a backpack?
A handbag or a backpack?
Mm-hmm.
Handbag.
A dress or jeans?
God, it depends. My mum uniform is jeans all the way, but if I'm working or going to an interview, then I try and sort of not be so jeans and top. So I don't know. I'll be aspirational and say a dress.
Disney or Marvel?
God, again, that's tricky. I do love a good superhero. I'll probably say Disney just because of the amount of time I spend watching it with my girls.
Yeah. Sweets or chocolate?
Chocolate.
If you had to go anywhere, would you go to the jungle or the desert?
Probably the jungle, because chances of survival would be higher, and I'm not good if it's too hot. I'd be passed out from sunstroke after the first day, whereas at least in the jungle you can kind of make shelters and find and drink rainwater and things like that.
Definitely. And finally, gift or an experience? So if somebody was to give you a present, or would you rather have an experience?
An experience.
Yeah,
definitely, because that's something that you can, you know, remember forever. And I think we have too much stuff these days.
Yeah.
Experience is much better, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah, we do that in our family all the time. We're going to a wildlife park, which is literally down the road. For my brother's girlfriend's present this year for her birthday, I bought her a red panda feeding experience.
Oh, wow, that would be amazing.
Oh, I know. So yeah, super excited.
Oh, yeah, that would be gorgeous. It's lovely that these places are opening up again as well, isn't it?
Definitely, definitely, because it's all outside and stuff, you know,
Yeah,
we have to
safe.
take certain precautions, but we should be okay. So very excited.
Oh, have a lovely time.
Very much. And my last question for you is, if you can't answer it, don't panic, but what is next for you? Do you have anything in the pipeline?
Um, I've been really lucky actually throughout lockdown. My husband, who is also my technical support, who's also a brilliant, he's built me a sound booth for the garden. So where I normally in my photography studio, he's taken like half of it and built a brilliant sound booth. So I've been really lucky. I've been doing audio books and some adverts and things like that. So I've got an audio book coming up and a couple of other voice jobs. So I've been busy, which is good, and I've got a book I'm prepping for and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, but I mean, as for I think it's going to be a long time before theatres, and I was lucky enough to do I did a bit of filming on something about 3 weeks ago now, which was really interesting, to be on a socially distanced film set with everybody with masks and things like that. But I will take it any way it needs to be, as long as I can as long as I can get back on them. And I thought they did it really, really well. You know, everybody, you got your temperature taken when you came in on set, and it was really, really well done. So it's really heartening to know that these things, people adapt so quickly, don't they, just to kind of make things work and make sure we can all keep working. And
yeah, I think it like comes straight full circle to what we started with. If you've got a passion for it, you'll make it work.
Yeah, exactly. Completely.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your time. I super appreciate it.
Thank you for asking me.
No worries at all. It was great to meet you, and I'll send you the link when it goes up on the channel so you can have a little bit of a look.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Have a lovely day, Jen.
Thank you. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Anna. It was amazing to chat to you. Had a fantastic time. Take care. Okay, people. So there's still more guests to come, and I'd love to know who you'd like to see me interview next. So put it in the comments, send me a message if you know me. I'd love to have some info about who you think would be really cool to listen to talk all day long. And I mean, you know, anyone, I'll give it a go. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and wrap up warm. Speak soon.